What's up, guys? Welcome to G Whiskey. My name's Jeff. Now, this is a channel where I offer my thoughts, my opinions, and some scores about various whiskeys that I try. Now, if that sounds interesting to you, do me a favor and hit that subscribe down below. And with that out of the way, why don't we jump into our whiskey of the day? We are looking at the Mortlach 16, so stick around. Now, Mortlach's kind of a cool distillery. Apparently, for most of their history, their whiskey was pretty much just used for blends. A little bit later on, they got better known for their IBs, or their independent bottles. When I first got into whiskey about 10 years ago, they still didn't have a core range, but they did have quite a fan base just because a lot of people were digging those independent bottles. A lot of people were really into Mortlach, and I can kind of see why. I like it myself. It's got a really distinctive character. There's almost like this meaty savoriness to it. It's got these big, bold sherry flavors as well, kind of a masculine character, and it became well known for that. And also, I think a lot of people liked that it was only available through independent bottles. It made it feel more like, I don't know, rare or exclusive, something like that. But people loved their Mortlachs. And that's how things stayed for a few years. But eventually in 2014, Mortlach decided they were going to release their first core range. I guess they figured they had enough stock available and they'd garnered enough goodwill from their customers through those independent bottles that they just decided it was time. And long story short, it didn't go very well. And there's a couple reasons for that. Now, our first problem was the price. Right out the gate, Mortlach decided they wanted to slap a premium price tag on their entire core range. And they were charging maybe 150 to 200% what similar brands were charging for comparable bottles. And beyond that, not only did they have an expensive whiskey, they also had 500 milliliter bottles as opposed to the standard 700 milliliter bottles. So people were being charged more money for less whiskey, and they did not take kindly to it. And for the brief time that those bottles were on the shelf, I think Mortlach lost a lot of goodwill from their customers. A lot of people thought they were trying to take advantage of them, getting a little bit too greedy. Felt like they were trying to position themselves as the next Macallan. And like Macallan, they do have a very good product. But considering the 500 ml bottles and the exorbitant price tag, people thought they were going overboard, myself included. And those bottles stuck around for a few years, but I guess in 2018, Mortlach finally decided to do the right thing. What they did is they swapped out their old core range, put in a new core range with proper size bottles, 700 milliliters, and we had much more reasonable price tags on them as well. So thanks to that, I think people started warming up to Mortlach again. And, you know, kudos to the brand. They actually did listen to our complaints and they did address them. So sure, well done. Better late than never, right? So yeah, this new range, it's been out for a few years now. Generally, I think it's pretty well received. A lot of people seem to like it. I kind of like it myself. In terms of the 16-year-old, this one, by the way, has been matured in first fill and refill sherry casks. And why don't we jump into this one? In terms of ABV, our ABV here is 43.4. I always kind of notice when they put the decimal point in the ABVs. There's nothing wrong with it. It's very precise. Why not? It's just something I notice. In terms of chill filtration, there's nothing about it on the bottle, nothing on the box, nothing on the website. So when they don't mention it, we can assume that yes, it is chill filtered. And finally, for color, this is a colored whiskey. We know that because unlike other countries, Germany, in order to import them, requires that they declare any additives. Obviously, that information makes it online, and now we can find it and we can say, yes, there is color added to this whiskey. So unfortunately, we don't have any check boxes today. Now, it is worth noting that just because you don't see 3 check boxes up there doesn't mean it's a bad whiskey. That's a gauge of how naturally presented the whiskey is. A lot of whiskeys might have 3 X's up there and they still make it work, but it does mean that there's room for improvement. So our color doesn't matter because it's colored. So let's take a look at the bottle itself. In terms of presentation, I do actually like these Mortlach bottles. I think they look pretty cool. Kind of like a modern Art Deco style going on. And the style kind of matches the distillery character. It's sort of like very sturdy, very masculine. So that works as well. Aesthetically, I think it looks good. It loses 0.5 for not giving us all the information that we need on the front of the label here. But of course they wouldn't because there's nothing to brag about. Beyond that, I think it looks good on my bar. I think it kind of pops off the shelf. It commands a bit of attention. So I'll give it 4 out of 5 in terms of the looks of the bottle itself. Another nice little bonus is that this is a 750 ml bottle as opposed to a 700 ml that we usually get in Taiwan. I don't know why, maybe it was meant for the American market, but I'll take it. Also, if you're watching from the States, enjoy these bigger bottles as you get an extra 50 mils with every bottle. Enjoy that while it lasts. Your country has recently changed its rules and you're now taking or accepting 700 ml bottles. So, kind of sucks, but hey, welcome to the club. All right, let's check the nose. So lots of sherry in here, caramel, raisins, dates. You also have some sweeter notes in here, like you have some toffee, maybe a bit of molasses as well. It's malty, it's kind of oaky, it's kind of waxy, really well balanced, kind of a classic sherry profile. Okay, let's taste this. Nice texture, kind of silky, kind of a chewy element here as well. Definitely very sherry forward. You have your plums, you have your red fruits. You also have a little bit of like nuttiness in here. And one thing I can kind of say about this sherry is that it's a pretty clean sherry, and I do appreciate that. That's kind of cool. All right, let's check out the finish. So it's a really seamless move into that finish. Very easy, very gentle. If you can accept the word, it's a smooth finish, and I do mean that in a good way. Lots of sherry, of course. You have your blood oranges, you have red apples, you have dates, you have cinnamon. You also have heaps of honey, baking spices, oak spices, tobacco, some maybe dark tannins in here. You have that salty, savory Mortlach character in here as well. Just so much to explore, loads of complexity, and again, a very clean sherry. So this is really cool stuff. All right, so this is like clean, it's chewy, and it's complex. As I mentioned earlier, the sherry is very clean. I like that element to it. There's nothing muddy about it. You can pick apart the individual notes pretty easily, and that's kind of fun to do. Beyond that, there's a lot of harmony, there's a lot of balance, there's a lot of complexity. It's kind of incredible how well this whiskey comes together. Also, the 16 years of age is definitely apparent in this one, but not in the way you might think. I don't get 16 years just because there's a big blast of oaky flavors or oak spice in here. You definitely have oak, but a lot of it's pretty calm, pretty reserved, very well integrated. I get the age more from just how settled in these flavors are. It's kind of like it's seamlessly integrated, and it's got this kind of like calm, easy vibe to it, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? That makes no sense. Okay, so clearly I do like this whiskey a lot, but one thing that I can say about it, for better or for worse, is that it's not going to surprise you. This is very much a classic sherry profile. You're not getting anything weird or funky or out there. Yes, you do get that sort of like rich, meaty Mortlachiness, but beyond that, it's pretty much a straightforward sherry dram, but it's, you know, the magic's in the execution, it's balanced, it's harmonious. Again, you have that kind of like clean sherry note in there as well. So it all comes together really beautifully. In terms of score, this is an 89 for me. I really do like it. For value, I do think this is a good buy. I know it's not super cheap, but it's not very expensive either. And I will say this, when you drink it, you do kind of get a premium whiskey vibe. You get a luxury vibe from it. So I think that alone kind of warrants the price tag. Also, not only that, I do like this new lineup. I know it's been out for a few years now, but I do like it. It's kind of helped restore my faith in Mortlach. They are delicious whiskeys. So yeah, if you like Mortlach and you like sherried whiskeys in general, I do recommend it. If you see it around, grab it. All right, that's it for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Do me a solid and hit that subscribe down below. Click that little bell icon and smash the like. Also, I want to hear from you. So have you tried the new Mortlach 16? What were your thoughts on it? And finally, tell me what you'd like to see me review next, and I'll keep that in mind for my next video. Bye, guys. Take care.